Hey, welcome everyone to Collector Chatter. I'm your host Miguel here, with my co-host Charlie, and we're back again with a great episode. This is episode 46, and today's episode we're going to recap the NYCC Great Con, the Fright Night event, all that kind of stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Funko news and drops and things that are coming out this week.
And as usual, if you're listening on our podcast platforms, thank you so much for your support. But come over to our YouTube channel where we have tons of exclusive content where you'll be able to see all the different pops and sodas that we're talking about. Images will be popped up on the screen. So it gives you a little bit more insight of what everything looks like. And when you get over there, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment. And, with that being said, let's chat.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another great episode. Like I said, this is episode 46. This is going to be a news episode. Shouldn't be crazy long. There wasn't too much stuff to talk about, but we do want to really recap the New York Comic Con, of course, which just recently passed this weekend, as well as the Fright Night event, which you can see that little Fright Night box back there, Charlie got, if you are watching on YouTube. But yeah, just I guess we could start off with. You want to start off with the news? You want to start? We could start off with con. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, let's just start off with like the con, how our experience
Yeah.
went with the, digital version of it. And then, you know, my cousin went, who he gave me some insight about how, the Funko booth went down, but like we've seen
Yeah.
some stuff. So I figure we can give a little bit of take on that. But first off the bat, I'll say, Funko had their issues again when this drop happened to like, order your stuff. At least
Yeah.
did I had issues. I'm assuming you did as well.
Yeah. I did. I definitely had some issues where it wasn't as smooth.
Yeah, it was
Um.
better than it's been, at
Yeah.
least from my experience. But it just, you get on there, you still can't always click on when you go to add the cart. It's like wasn't adding for me. One thing that's also been a huge pet peeve of mine, which I don't know why, like they have that countdown and it never just like refreshes to allow you to like go into the event.
Yeah.
And I know it's always been
That I
that
think was
way.
the biggest problem. I think is that part, like
Yeah, that
actually
really
getting it live.
they need to fix that. Like, as someone who like I know how that stuff works, like they're fully capable of not making that happen, because I think a lot of stuff sold out this go around pretty quickly, at least from some of the things that I wanted. And I feel like if that was more smooth, that may not have happened. I don't know what you like, if you agree with that, but
Yeah.
it gets frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. So I was gonna say, so when you said like, how did it go? And like, was it like, like kind of tough? It it was mostly that. Like the whole like you're sitting there, excuse me, and you're waiting, and then like the time hits and it doesn't auto change. So then even if you go and you try to refresh it, like you still don't see it right away. It takes
Yeah.
like a lag. And like I get it, like obviously there's tons of traffic on the site. So it's not gonna be like perfect, but that was like definitely the part that kind of like I was like, come on, like you gotta figure that out.
And then one thing that I just thought it was like amazing to see what pops sold out immediately. Ones that like I never would have thought of. Like
Yeah.
one
Excuse
that
me.
just is like comes right at the top of my head was the Groot pop. Like I know
Yeah.
I wanted that, but like
I
that
was
sold out in
so
my
mad.
cart immediately. I was like, what? Like I was shocked by that. I was super pissed that I
That
didn't get the Anakin one.
Yep.
Which that sold out super quick in my cart. And then I think the other one that sold out in my cart was the Statue of Liberty from No Way Home.
That was actually one of the first, I feel like one of the first ones to sell. And I'm not gonna be like a I honestly did not think that was. Like I
Me
thought that was
either.
gonna be one that would sit around, maybe like, and I guess that hype really is real. Like we said it before with the whole No Way Home, and when we were talking last week's episode with Trey and stuff, and like he was excited for that. But then I was like, yeah, like is still like a hype for this? People still want it, and clearly they do.
We've talked about this in the past, but it does seem like the Funko Shop exclusives that don't
Mhm.
need to be shared with retail, they do sit around a little bit longer. And that's has
Yeah.
nothing to do with it being as popular. It's just, we talked this before. Like we kind of like to do the one-stop shop. So just get everything you want on Funko. But like all of those three that we just talked about were all shared exclusives. So not only do they have to be shared with the stores, Funko.com and the Funko booth, that also probably adds a little bit to them selling out quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We talked about that a couple times with different cons, and it almost like seems like that's kind of the guarantee of the way it is,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming these obviously, I talk about this all the time, like they're exclusive mostly because of sticker, whatever. But obviously there is a numbered amount
Yeah.
eventually, like however many they make. And I would assume that it's the same for like each pop, unless it's like an actual numbered pop, right?
Yeah.
So clearly, if they need to sell 50,000 of one pop, but it's also shared to Target, then clearly Funko's only going to have a certain allotment, and then Target's going to have the other allotment or whatever it is. So it is interesting that those usually are the first ones, like you said. So like the Groot one was a Target shared exclusive. The Liberty one, I think, was that one Target? No,
That
that
was
was
Amazon. That was
the
Amazon.
Amazon, but it wasn't Funko.
Yeah.
Either
Coach
way. So
Beard was a Target one, which that also sold out for me, which I was like,
Target, yeah.
what's going on? Because like no one wanted the Ted Lasso one from the previous con.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
just thought it was interesting that that one sold out so quickly. But luckily, I was actually able to get those from Target, which another, now this has happened every con. So it's not a fluke. Some people say it is, but Target makes all of them $11.99. They never up them to like the con price of $15.
Yeah,
So
which is so interesting.
it's weird. So if you're looking to get like the better deal going forward, maybe you just get the ones from Target and don't
Yeah,
get them
which
from
I
the
think
Funko shop.
GameStop does that as well. No, there aren't theirs usually priced a little cheaper.
I don't from the con I've noticed Target is the only one.
Okay, yeah.
But
So, but yeah, I mean, for me, like even getting it, like what I notice, and I do this every time. Anytime there's like a con or some kind of drop that you need to like hurry up and get everything. And
yeah,
like for those of you guys don't know, like if you don't shop through Funko Shop, whatever, and you haven't got it, basically like when it's a con type thing, they don't have your saved information. So
yeah,
like card info, like doing shop or whatever, which normally will be done through their site, they don't. So you have to enter it in. So like it really comes down to like you need to know what you want. You go on, you add it right away, you immediately go to the cart, you check out. Like that's how you have to do it. But every single time, I always second guess myself,
me
or I
too.
say, maybe I'll get this one, or should I? And I like question it. And that always bites me in the butt because there's usually one that will sell out. And like Charlie said, like I went in kind of quickly, scrolled down, and as I was scrolling, like checked off the sodas, which was really ones that I wanted. And then a few pops. And I had that cart built, and then I went forward. And I was like, all right, I think I'm good with this. And as I was putting the cart in, checking out, that's when Anakin sold out for me because I had it in the cart
Yep, me
and
too.
then it was gone. Like when it was showing that whole little like you're in a waiting list and the things it said available, and then that one was the only one that wasn't. And then I checked out. So then I was like, all right, well, I got pretty much everything else I wanted. Another cool thing that I noticed though, and I don't know if they've been doing this, but I feel like it's kind of new, is the how you can get two. Because I
I didn't
remember
know that
doing
until
cons where
you
you could only get
told me
one.
that. It used
Yeah,
to only be one.
so I always hated it when it came to sodas because I'm like, well, I gotta get one soda and I'm not gonna get a chance of a chase. Well, I mean, obviously it's a chance of a
Yeah.
chase, but with me, I like getting the two and I want to get one of each. So this time I remember clicking on, and it happened with the Disney ones
I think
where it
that's
was
the
two.
first one for it to change.
So when I seen it again, I was like, let me click on it. And then there's a drop down and it was a numbered and it was literally one or two. So it is max two. I was like, oh, cool. But then I noticed they did that with all of them. So granted, I didn't grab multiple pops, but I could have gotten like two if I wanted or whatever. But I did it with the sodas. So I got pretty much majority of sodas. I passed on the Phoenix one. I passed on the 3 liters. Just because like the cart was getting pricey, especially because I was with two of each soda.
Yeah.
And then a couple pops. But I was mad about the group. Like I really thought that would be there. Like I could easily grab
I
it.
know.
And I was like, oh my God, it's sold out. But I think Anakin I wanted as well. But that one I felt like that was gonna be popular. But it seems like that one's a really popular one based off of the kind of community and people posting. And the Spider-Man one seems like
Yeah.
it's a big one that might be a big grail. But yeah, that was our obviously just what we experienced. But like you said, I know your cousin went to the event. I know he's a listener, so we'll shout him out for sure because you know he was kind of our eyes on the ground
Yeah,
over there.
eyes and ears.
But yeah, but we also obviously follow a ton of, you know, YouTube pages or just Funko collectors and people in the community that also went, whether it's people that we know locally because we're here in the East Coast and in New York area, or people that, you know, we just follow that happen to be at the event. And it looked like it was an awesome event in general, like
Yeah.
the usual. Seemed pretty busy. Looked like Thursday was kind of obviously more of a slower day, and then it really picked up, it seems like, on the weekend. I had a couple friends actually that went that I didn't even realize were going to be going, and that they went on random days. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Funko specifically, the booth looked pretty bananas. It looked like an awesome setup. I loved
Yeah.
the whole art and everything they did with it. But it seemed like it was a zoo, and I know your cousin kind of
Yeah.
told you a
He
little bit more the inside of how that was. But what was his
yeah, I mean, he said it
thought
was
process?
insane, and like you said, we've been going, even though I didn't go this year, me and my cousin have been going to Comic-Con for so long together, to New York Comic-Con, and normally, and I've mentioned this in the past before, it's kind of just like an open booth with no real theming, just like the Funko Blue, and you could see everything in there. And it's pretty tiny. Um, Still long lines, but always chaotic, but that was about it. This year they really, which I'm guessing is now the future of how they want to do this to the con, like they're theming it, and you could not see inside this booth at all,
Yeah, it was like a
completely
curtain or a door.
enclosed. And but he told me a lot of people were complaining because you had to have won the reservation to get the chance to go in. But like it's, let's say 2 o'clock is rolling around, excuse me, 3 o'clock, and the 2 o'clock people still haven't really been seen yet.
Hmm.
So that was driving a lot of people crazy. But from what I heard, beggars can't be choosers. Mike was there, and he was like entertaining people in there. So like that's like another big difference. Why I think it was even more chaotic is once you got in, it was kind of like an experience of like
Yeah.
the haunted fun house, and you weren't just getting your stuff and leaving. Like it used to be a very well-oiled machine. Get up there, your turn, tell them what they want, pay your money, put it in the bag, you leave. That was not happening. So like I think that's
Yeah, they had a
cool.
stage. They had
Yeah,
like
they had a
like a
stage
scene,
in
like a bunch of stuff
there.
going on. Yeah.
Celebrities were like going in there.
Yep.
They were handing out like, candy and pins and stuff, which like they normally would do that, but like I said, it wasn't really all encompassing in there, and you kind of like they made an event out of it, which I personally think is cool, but I also think it then hurt if you didn't get the reservations. Like I know like I really wanted the Freddy Funko that they kind of surprised everyone with, that was going to be available only at New York Comic Con at the
Hmm.
booth. um he had no real shot of getting it in the line afterwards because it was just so chaotic. They were capping it so early. um
Yeah.
which that normally happens, but it seemed to be even more chaotic. Not to keep saying the same thing, but because like people didn't want to leave when they got in there. It was like I wait in line, like I want to like
Yeah.
take pictures, I want to look at what's happening. Like, are they giving away like a social media like thing right now? So yeah, that added to the chaos.
Yeah. Which yeah, because I was hearing like you waited in your line at whatever time you were supposed to go, but it was like 2, 3 hours later that people were getting in from just waiting for
Yeah,
that time slot. So obviously it was pretty nuts. But it's obviously the hype, and it's the first, like we've talked about before, it's the first time being back at NYCC for Funko for
yep,
a little while. And even though the virtual aspect has become big, and it still obviously is very popular because as we know how much stuff sold out and how quick, the experience at an actual event is still obviously, bar none, probably the better thing.
yep,
So it's still cool. And then to go off of that, Fright Night, we talked about this endlessly about kind of being excited for it. How was that going to be? We had an in-home box option, which we spoke about, and then there was also the actual convention event. The in-home box one, we kind of touched on that last week, so I don't want to
yep.
go too into
No,
that.
we don't need
Obviously,
to.
Charlie, you got lucky and did get one. But at the actual con, we knew there was going to be a little bit different. It was going to be more exclusive. There was going to be another version of some of the boxes, etc. But it seemed like it was pretty much a little bit more limited than like if we were
Yeah.
comparing it to the Fun Days, it was nowhere near the same,
No,
if
not
we're
even the
being
same
honest.
league. Nope.
I love the theme. I thought it was gonna be great. I thought it was awesome. There is one pop, the Sam, Freddy as Sam. If anyone has that, let me know, because that thing was amazing. Like hands down, I love that. But the what was interesting is that you got the same three pops. Everyone's box there
It was a
had the
one
same.
box.
So it
Yep.
was literally one, and then you had like a mixture of a couple different sodas. So like it wasn't that like exclusive, I guess you could say, except for the fact that you got these three pops that you only got through there. But it was a little odd for me that the way they did that. Maybe they put it together kind of quick, or could just be because they felt like, let's do this. Maybe it was somewhat last minute in the sense of how
Yep.
big Fun Days box was, that they're like, oh, we could totally, benefit off of this. That's also announce another box or whatever. But it was cool, three sodas, three pops, whatever. But the event itself, from what I heard and I saw, like it was kind of a shit show based off of like how it was put together and whatever. Like it seemed pretty cool. There was obviously Elvira was there as a
Yeah.
celebrity. Run DMC guy was there. A few people, and they had a couple announcements and stuff. And it was outside because we talked about that, right? It
Yep.
was up on like a roof, but they were. It looks like it was like a tented
Yeah, it was
area,
enclosed.
which was cool. But yeah, it looks pretty packed, pretty nuts. But I don't know. What were your thoughts on? Because your cousin didn't go to the event, right?
He didn't get
No.
it, so he got locked
Yeah.
out like we did. So first thing I'll say, it did seem like a shit show based on what people are saying, but I don't know if that's 100% Funko's fault. I
Yeah.
think this goes back. I don't, and no one can quote me on this, but they definitely don't have as much as creative control of how the event is run logistically. I don't think as they do Fun Days, which we kind of alluded to before. I
Mhm.
think Reed Pop, who is the company who puts on the con, you know, does a lot of that. Set it up, the chairs, like, you had everything, the lines ready and whatnot. Like, I know a lot of people are complaining, like, there was no place for them to sit.
Yeah, and
Because when you
food, supposedly there was, like,
yeah,
an issue with it. They were supposed to have
there was
food
like
and they
no
ran
food.
out.
Yeah. All I know is like I find it interesting that when if you saw the videos and pictures from Fun Days in San Diego, I mean, there's tables, there's
Mhm.
chairs. It looks like you're at like an event, like a wedding where there's,
Yeah, yeah.
clearly tables for people. I just find it weird that like they wouldn't have just replicated that. So that's where I'm like, is this Funko's fault? And maybe they just didn't do it that way and they wanted to try this out. I just find that hard to believe. And the
Yeah.
last thing Funko wants is like, I think this event will continue to happen, but like they don't want people saying it sucked when everyone like has nothing but amazing things to say about the ones in San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
agree.
then the box, like I actually thought the box was weak as well. Like at Fun Days, like we said, they're like just like you're getting your bag of swag with like stuff like Freddy's that you have no idea what you could get. Like everyone there has different ones. People are trading them. They're
Mhm.
like they make it into an event where here it was like, okay, everyone got the exact same box. I mean, it even looks like this one I have in the corner where you can see online the pictures, the ones you could order online. I think it was a different color scheme. And even like I know a lot of people care about like which we do too. It's fun at times like the limited piece counts. Like the three sodas you got besides the limited piece counts, I thought they were some of the worst ones. Like even though I thought the candy corn was cool, you got two of them. It was just
Yeah, like
like
the
a
color scheme is a
yeah,
different
like I
mold.
don't think it needed to be two. And then the other one you got was a freaking Squid Game one, which I was just
Yeah.
like, really?
I
I was
know.
surprised by that. And then even the pop, like I feel like, which I'm gonna put a video on our channel of me opening up my box, but like I don't think the pops were that much better. I mean, I know like how much you love, Trick or Treat, and like the salmon would be like straight up fire for you, and it looks amazing. But the three as a whole, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, that box is so much better than the one I could have ordered.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Because the other two, like to me, were just like they were
Whatever.
just like whatever pops. It's like it's just weird. And it's just like based off of like leaks that we saw, like potential like molds that at one point were made where it was like Freddie as Michael Myers,
Yeah,
Freddie
which are
as the
clearly just
Sam was one
fake.
of them, like all those, and it was obviously like maybe they are prototypes or there were things like that, but like like that would have been wild. But it just didn't live up to. I think the hype just got too big that it didn't live up to it. Fun days happened and it didn't live up to that. So it kind of like was more like, yeah, if no fun days happened or there was no hype and this happened, it probably would have been a cooler box or a cooler experience. But
Yeah.
either way, I mean, it was probably fun to be there. I'm sure there was tons of people. You got to, I mean, just the experience in general probably would have been the best part of like meeting other people and seeing other YouTube pages and
Yeah. I
seeing other
mean, if
people that
we
you
were
might know.
there, I
Like
don't
that would
think
have
I
been
would have
cool.
complained. Like I would
No,
have
no,
had a
no.
good time.
And I was talking to somebody earlier today who's DMing me about the box. He said he got it and I wasn't able to get it. And I even said it. I was like, honestly, I was like, I didn't love everything that was in the box, but if I would have got it, because obviously I didn't get one, if I would have got it, I would have still been happy with it. I would have been like, oh, that's cool that I got it. But it wasn't like one of the where you missed out on some of the fun days boxes or the ones at the event, and you're like, bro, like I wish I had that box, like so bad, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Even shows with like some of these like the FOMO of these boxes and these pops that were so sought after the first day, and then now like they're plummeting in price. It's not like they're like that wanted anymore. But either way, it was definitely a cool event. I'm glad they're doing it. And like you said, I think they're going to continue to do it. I still have yet to ever been to even Comic-Con in general. So next year, hopefully, I mean, they announced it October 12th to the 15th, 2023. That's going to be at Javits Center, like always, is going to be next year's convention. So that's going to be something that I need to make sure that at some point we
Yeah.
get there. We
I say like
definitely figure that out.
I know we wanted to go this year and like it just didn't work out. Like
Yeah, it was.
we should go next year,
Yeah.
and we're getting those Fright Night tickets. And if we don't, someone's getting us those tickets because I'll be the first to admit, like, I don't know if I said this on our last show. I didn't go this year just out of pure knowing I could not have actually been at that con knowing I couldn't go to Fright Night. Like it just bothered
Yeah.
me honestly way too much. Like I've been to Comic-Con and I haven't gone in a few years now. And like I wanted to go back with a bang and I thought that was gonna be it. And
Yeah.
I just I just couldn't stomach it.
Yeah. But it also seems like now how hard it's going to be to even get into the booth going forward for
Yeah.
these things. And like it always obviously has been hard, but it just seems like now it's like a really tough task basically for you to even get into the booth and get the actual con sticker, for instance, or whatever. But
Which you heard about the whole debacle of like
yeah, and they
some of
didn't
them
even not
have
even
them.
all of them had con stickers. Exactly. So then like some of the most sought after ones, like that, what's it called? Fluffy or whatever that one,
Yeah.
like didn't have con stickers. So it was like, what was the whole point of
Waiting
like
in
that's the
line.
whole thing. Like the event itself is supposed to be the exclusive con one. That was the whole thing. But yeah,
Another
so
thing too about the Friday, I'm curious what your opinion is on this. Like a major thing that they were giving out, which they normally do at Fun Days, was like Protos.
yeah,
They
yeah. I was gonna say they did.
that's that seemed to be like the big thing where there was a
Yeah, there
ton
was a
of
lot of
different
them.
ones, a
A
lot. It
lot of
seemed
them.
like more here than actually at Fun Days, which is interesting.
Yeah, it actually almost seemed like it was easier to get one here. Like almost
Yeah,
everyone got one. Whereas Fun Days, it seemed like you had to kind of like win a ticket or get up there and like answer a question, and then it would give you a proto or do that little thing where you like reached in and got the proto. So, but it didn't seem like it was as accessible. Where yeah, this time it was, which is that's a cool thing. Like the protos are always a cool like
yeah, I agree.
concept like that you get. Some of these it's kind of funny though because there's some people that get some because they're usually kind of random. You don't know where you're gonna get. You open up the bag but some people get some and they just don't know who it
It
is because it's
is.
like a very generic pose or like it could be this or it could be that. Like I actually saw some, I forgot who it was, but someone posted one and it was a picture of it was a sports one and he's holding a ball by his side, but it literally could have been a soccer or a basketball because they both have the same mold. So you have no idea because it's literally very basic and a bus. It's like,
Which that's
but
kind
it's
of cool
cool
though.
just to know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool to know that you got something that's like the beginning stages of a Funko Pop essentially. But yeah, I was actually gonna mention that the proto seemed like that was up to par with like
Yeah.
exclusive stuff going on at the con. But yeah, but overall, let us know your thoughts of obviously the con if you were lucky enough to go. Comment down below what if you guys got into the booth or were at the Fright Night event. Kind of your thoughts, obviously being there probably was a little different. Like we said, we kind of just heard from his cousin was there and like friends and other people and seeing stuff on social media based off of the event. But it seemed like there was a lot of cool people there. I know Top Pops was walking around
Yeah.
everywhere, so people saw him, which was really cool. And then all the the Instagram people that for Funko that work. I forget her name, Ashley, I think. She's like pretty well known, usually does the unboxing and stuff. She was around, Mike was there, like you said, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because
He had that
that's like another
opportunity.
thing. I think the fact that the booth was super legit this year and of the Friday night, like Mike, I'm pretty sure normally doesn't come to New York Comic Con. Even Brian Mariotti was there, and like he normally doesn't go either. So
Yeah.
that was like another thing that made it feel a little more like a huge Funko event that both of them were there, which I thought
Yeah.
was super cool.
Yeah, that's actually is. I don't. I was gonna say I didn't even think Brian was there because I couldn't. I don't remember seeing him, but I think I do remember now.
Yeah, I saw
At one
people
point
taking
seeing him,
pictures
but
with
yeah,
him.
but Mike was definitely like all over the place. He seemed like
Yeah,
he
that's
was
like
loving it.
that's straight
That's
up
it.
just like the point
That's
of his
him.
job now. Yeah.
But that's gonna be it for the New York Comic Con stuff. So we'll kind of move on to some news, some drops and things that we saw coming out or that are going to be coming out. Pretty cool. A lot of news was actually dropped at the
Event.
event. So the actual Friday Night event, they had like this whole little I think I can think of the word, but they showed off a bunch of stuff. So basically, they had uh, different pops that they were talking about, different lines and stuff. One of them, which is really cool, I kind of hinted toward this before, but Elvira, so the actual actress was there, and they announced that they're going to do an Elvira soda. So that
Yep.
was a pretty cool one. Being a big horror fan, like that was exciting to see that because we always have a couple different pops of her, but we don't have her in soda. The chase is just like her the red dress, pretty well known. So cool. I think it might have been glitter. That's usually what they do with hers all the time. There might have just been red, but either way, it was a cool one to see that one
Yeah, it's completely different
announced.
actually because
Yeah, the mold,
she's
the whole
holding a
outfit, I
heart
believe, is different.
in the
Oh, okay. So
chase.
she is.
Yeah.
That's even cool. So good job by them putting out a pretty cool one. It was interesting because it was like the one soda they announced, which was kind of interesting because they usually do it in batches. They're usually like, oh, these 4 or 5 sodas are coming out, and they're like, just this
Yeah.
one.
I
And
think
I
because
was
she
like,
was there and like Mike definitely is like Elvira's like a thing for him.
yeah, yeah, and the
Yeah.
whole theme,
Yeah.
Halloween and
It was
horror
just
theme,
perfect.
so it made sense. But that was a cool one. There was a few movies slash shows that got a couple pops in there. So we had the new Wakanda Forever pop line was announced. We kind of hinted to her how some of these were being like leaked,
Yep.
and it kind of seems like it wasn't necessarily a leak because then the trailer came out soon after,
Yeah.
and
And they
basically
probably
like
knew
they're
they were
showing
doing
off
here.
a lot of, they're showing off a lot more than we think was gonna be shown, like as far as like spoilers, quote unquote.
Yep.
And like granted, not fully, but yeah, they basically are actually gonna be doing this line, which we already had. This isn't the first wave of this line, right? Because
No,
besides
it's
that
wave
one that
two.
like leaked, we had another wave, right? Yeah. So we're getting just more versions of. So we have, is this the one that came out with the Neymar and the on
Yeah.
his the
On
ride
Orca.
version?
Yeah, which is pretty
Yeah.
I think that pop's pretty sweet.
Yeah, which is pretty funny. So that's cool. And then we obviously got like a Black Panther one, like officially now, of
Yep.
like who's gonna be the new Black Panther and stuff, like the version. But
Then we got like
pretty
another
cool.
Namor one, like with him, with his like headpiece on.
Yep.
These
Yeah.
pops, it's just funny. Like this line in general, like this line and the other line, they're like very visually pleasing pops, in my opinion. Like they're really
Yeah.
good looking.
Well, even
Like
the old Black Panther pops were
we're
like the
cool.
original
Yep, you're
ones.
right.
They always looked so awesome. Like they do such a great job of the details on all of their like dresses or their whatever
Yeah.
outfits they're wearing, and like it's always like done really well. So yeah. And then we had Wednesday pops, which pretty excited for that to be
Too.
coming out. Um, there's I think it was only a couple. It was like 3 maybe they announced.
And all Wednesday.
And they're all Wednesday. I was gonna say, so we don't even have the rest of the characters yet, which is fine. But maybe it's something that when it kind of like comes out and stuff, that we start getting more hype around it. We'll get
Yeah.
more of the people because we just recently started getting trailers and stuff for that. So I'm excited for that. So definitely,
Me too.
those are cool ones. Not necessarily like pops I'll go after, but I'm excited to
The
watch
show was
that.
good.
Yeah, the show definitely probably, and I love the actress. She's great. So that should be pretty cool watch. But we are getting more Wednesday pops. One of the most exciting things one of the things I was most excited for was another diecast, which is so funny because we've we've kind of leaked this and basically said that this was going to be
Yeah.
coming out a long time ago when we started getting all these like diecast rumors, and it's the Black Panther one, which I'm happy with it. I'm happy to get a Black Panther one. I think that's pretty awesome. I did notice though, it reminded me a lot of like the Iron Man one, where it looks like it's going to be a little smaller. Did you notice like it looks kind of small in that case?
It's funny. I didn't, but the first thing I noticed was that he's doing the Wakanda Forever, and there's not a
Yeah.
pop of that.
No?
No, this is actually straight up a
Wow.
new mold,
That's
which I was
awesome.
like, this is sick. Like, I this one is, in my opinion, could become like the best diecast of the Marvel ones, in my opinion.
That's sick. Well, like, yeah, and I didn't even, I think it's because it was small picture that I saw. I just was
Yeah,
like, oh, it's Black Panther. That's cool. But yeah, being like that, that's sick. I mean, I hate that it's still going through this whole like, oh, there's chase option thing,
yeah.
which like, it's kind of funny that this is what they're doing. Like it's just odd to me. Like, not that I don't like the way the chase looks, because when you see it in person, it looks pretty cool, but the fact that that's the chase is just kind of like whatever.
I
But I
feel
don't
like
want
they're
to go into
ultimately
that.
gonna stop doing that
But
because
they've kept going, which is why I'm like so
why? I
confused.
think because they've been like already in production. There's no
Yeah.
way it's not the money grab that they thought it was going to be. It's just too high of a price point. It's not like a soda.
Yeah, to get two or like go after it. And like you said, maybe it was already in production because we've like heard a rumor of a
A
Black
long
Panther,
time about this.
yeah, diecast a long time ago. So at some point something leaked to somebody which obviously knew this was going to be made. So but I mean nonetheless it's sick. I'll definitely go after. I have every single diecast at this point, at least one of each. So I'll definitely want to, grab that one hopefully. And then this will probably be, well, no, I'll say it. This will be the first 3 liter that I will probably officially go after. I've been saying it for a while, like, oh, maybe I want to get one, maybe not. And like, I even thought about it during this con. There was 2 3 liters, and I was just like, when I was getting 2 sodas at a time, I was like, this price is getting too high on
Yeah,
this cart, so I didn't grab any. But there's gonna be a Hulk 3 liter,
it's
which looks
awesome.
super cool. I mean, it's awesome. I'm glad we're getting a perfect 3 liter type character. I've talked about this in the past, and it seems like they're doing it right. They got the Baymax, they got Juggernaut, not Maleficent. So like they got ones that like those are big characters. Hulk fits perfectly into that mold. Make a 3 liter out of him. That would be pretty cool. I don't love the mold or like the design or the style that they went with, but it's still cool. It's Hulk's Marvel, and it's a bigger. It makes sense for him to be in a bigger soda, even though they already make the normal size one of
They
the
do.
Ragnarok one,
Yeah, but
which
so
is
it's like
an odd one.
Gladiator Hulk. Like it was, I
Yeah,
always
which
thought
is
that was
weird.
weird. I actually like the molds because it looks different. Like it's unique.
Yeah, definitely different. Yeah,
And I mean, I just said about the diecast Black Panther. I think this is definitely the best 3 liter soda that they've announced.
yeah.
Um, even though I'm trying to feel like the FOMO for these, I feel like is done. They're still sitting. I'm like a little surprised. Like they've
Even the
sold out.
con ones.
Yeah, the Collins are still there
Wow.
because Baymax and Iron Giant sold out immediately. Like I barely got them.
Yeah,
And now this, and then the Wampa, which they're
it's still sitting as
you
well,
go get them now if you want.
which is so funny because that was like the one that was like the most hyped, and it was supposed to be the first one, and everyone was shocked when it didn't come out.
Unless
And
people
now it's
are
like, yeah.
getting two in the beginning and now they're not. Like I never did that. Like to me, that's
Yeah, I don't
so not
know.
worth it.
I mean, I've
Um,
seen it's funny because we've seen people with multiple
yeah,
5, 6, 7, 8 of these. So like obviously it's being sold like to some people, but if it's not being sold out, it's
yeah,
interesting 'cause that means a lot of people are passing on it. And I think I wonder what it is. Like it could be a couple things. I do think price point is a big factor in it. The space and the size of the actual thing is probably another thing as well. So Not that I don't think they made good characters, because they're kind of like a couple have been like a little one off, but like I think they're good enough and they fit the whole mold of it being a bigger, figure, a bigger character. So
It'll be interesting though once you get your first one. They're not as big as they look, slash you would think.
yeah, is the
Yeah.
bottle the same
The
size of like a 3 liter? The figure I know is not like huge,
yeah, the
because
figure's
even
not
inside it's
huge.
smaller than you would think. It doesn't
Yeah,
fit the whole.
the bottle's a little smaller than I feel like what a real 3 liter bottle would look
Okay.
like. Which obviously you would display them most likely with the liter, just like most people do, or just like how you do with your normal
Hmm.
sodas. But that's what makes it bigger. But like, it's definitely not as big as like I feel like you would think when you see a picture of it.
Yeah, initially I remember seeing him like, oh my god, this thing's
Like the
enormous.
big golds are way bigger than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, those are big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of
So
people
maybe it's
think
not.
they're like the same size,
So
and
so
they're
maybe,
not.
yeah, maybe they're kind of steered away from it because they think that. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of one reason I usually hold that, and the price usually kind of why I don't like just go all out after them.
Yeah.
Um, because of that. Because those are the kind of ones so far. It hasn't been like where I needed to get two either. Like I'd be happy with either one. It's not like a regular soda can where I'm like,
Yep.
no, I usually try to go after the chase, and I'm okay with getting two because two of them are still less than the price of a three
Yeah.
liter. But I would be happy with just one of those. Um, but and there was also, I know you had said
Yeah,
Cuphead, right, or
we got new
something, one of
Cuphead,
those.
which I actually liked that game when it first came out. Got a pretty big cult following. The pops have always looked cool. I actually have some of the OG ones. It's just so interesting that they just came out with like a new line out of nowhere. Like I'm looking, it's just so funny because like to me, like this presentation at like the event, I feel like should have been like a huge like boom, these are awesome. Most of them check off that list. I think the Wednesdays are random.
Hmm.
I think the Cupheads were random. I don't think the Wakanda Forever was just because of the hype of the movie. Obviously, not the other Marvel stuff. The Cupheads thought were a little, and then I'll go into the next one and just give me your thoughts about these. Obviously, we're not Demon Slayer fans, but like that was like a big deal. Like new Demon Slayer pops, people were going nuts over them, even though they're
Hmm.
commons. And there was a decent amount of new Demon Slayer pops that were announced, which I thought was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, because I feel like there's been a little while since they've dropped like a full line.
Yeah,
Like, because I know it was big, it was hype a little while back, and then like you would get a couple exclusives or things here and there of Demon Slayer. But there wasn't any Demon Slayer pops in the con itself, right? Because we had talked about that with Trey, I
no,
think,
yeah, which is weird.
that there was a lot of different anime, but there wasn't actually Demon Slayer specific. I believe, I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Um, so it was interesting that like during it they announced like a new wave basically. And we know that's a very popular, anime and the Funko side of thing as well. Most of those lines usually sell pretty fast. But yeah, it was cool to see like another one of those, and even if it is a common release, like you said, it's still
Yeah.
like a popular one. So either way. And then we also had just a couple little con announcements and stuff, smaller ones. So we are going to get the Walmart Collector Con. So we'll be looking out for some more of those specific pops that are going to be coming out for that line. The Winter Con as well is another one that has a few leaked, like a list of a few different ones. There was also, I believe, one for a Joker comic cover, which is going to be coming out on that one. I'm a big Joker fan, so it's pretty cool that we're starting to see that. Comic cover line is obviously getting pretty big, but it is they all look really awesome though. So
The
like I
Joker
can't
one looks
blame
pretty
them for
sweet.
coming out. Yeah, and I can't blame them for coming out with the ones that they keep coming out with, even though I'm like, oh, there's too many of them. It makes sense because if you only like, it's a perfect line that if you only like one or two certain specific characters, you only get those comic covers. You don't need to be a
Exactly.
completionist for the line specifically. But those are definitely still pretty sweet. And then we had a lot of NFT news. So, well, kind of a lot of NFT news. We basically just had an NFT drop. And then we were just recently given an announcement for a new one, which this one came kind of fast, right? Like they haven't been doing that where it's like
No,
announcing in the next week it's when it's coming out. Or have they
no, you're
usually, I
right.
feel like it's usually
No,
like
they're
about
normally,
2 weeks or
I
so, right?
agree. Because normally it would have been announced the pattern that it's been because like people in the NFT community were like bitching about it last Friday. So it's only a couple days, but they're like, why aren't we getting an NFT announcement? And people are like, New York Comic Con, bro. Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
which
like,
makes sense.
yeah, it's but they just been, turning them out so quickly though. I kind of
Yeah, there are a
I,
lot.
I want them to slow down, and that's coming from myself who like loves them. There's just way too many.
I feel like at one
Um,
point it was like once a month
it
or so,
was,
but now it's like a couple times a month. Like
yeah, which is
like really is
just
coming out like that. There's definitely something that, but like we'll talk about the previous one. So obviously it was the Game of Thrones. We talked about that in the last episode. We were excited for those. Um, to let you guys know, we both did really well in terms of getting packs.
yeah,
We for a long time, either one of us would go after it, or if both of us did, sometimes one of us only would get packs, that kind of thing. So we both went after this. We're both huge Game of Thrones fans. We kind of told you guys all about that in the last episode, but we both got a decent amount of packs. I know I think you got 6
yep,
premium packs. I got 5. I could have had 6, like I got in a third time, which you can get 2 packs at a time at that point. But I was like, let me hold back a little bit and not spend too much. I ended up getting 5. But both of us, open up our packs. We have videos on the channel, so we always tell you guys, definitely check out the YouTube channel if you're listening on the podcast, because we do our NFT pack openings.
yeah,
We have like a screen recording of our video of our actual screen when we're opening packs, and it was a pretty awesome one overall. I just wanted to say, like, obviously, like, we don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't watched, but check out what Charlie got and check out what myself got. But overall, this set, like, I don't know if it was like the whole nostalgia thing because of like Game of Thrones has, been over for a little while, and like loving the show and how many episodes, how many characters.
yep,
And then like seeing the cards like was so awesome. Like you
awesome. I agree.
remembered like episodes, you remembered shows with certain characters. And like every time I would see a new one, I was like, oh, that's pretty even if it was like literally a common card, uncommon card, whatever it was. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Oh, that's awesome. And like you'll see it in the video because I was just excited for the cards in general. There's a lot in this set. Like it was a big set with a lot of cards. So it's definitely a like harder set to like collect the royalty for sure. But I was excited. I know you definitely
Yeah,
like loved the set as well, right?
I love this set, and yeah, I mean, me and Migs are both definitely going for that royalty. So, if you have any extras, you want to help us out. But one, like, I want you, everyone, if you haven't already watched the videos, please go watch both of our videos. But there's one thing I want to bring up about this collection that I thought was so random was the Freddy Funko NFT cards. One of
Yeah.
them being him on a red carpet for Game of Thrones. Like that made no sense at all. When I opened it, like my reaction, like I didn't know what to say. I just thought it was so
Yeah.
because a lot of people were like crapping all over this release because there was no Freddie royalty. It's a Jon Snow pop, which I think that Jon Snow pop looks amazing. So I'm okay that it's not a Freddie, but one of the cards is Freddie
Mhm.
on the throne, which would have been, I think, maybe the best Freddie that they would have came out with from the NFT royalty line.
Yeah, it would have
Like,
been sick.
it's just, I don't understand the logic on that. That was my only gripe with this set. But like I said, like I loved opening up the cards. It was so cool to see, you know, they hit a lot of the characters. There wasn't many missing, at least of the main ones, even
Yeah.
some
No.
side characters. I thought the animations just keep getting better and better. Like
Yeah.
the Grail animation for Daenerys, just I watched that. Like it just looks so cool. Yeah, super happy with this set, even though it took a long time to sell out because once again, we talked about this before. Some people were like boycotting this drop, which was like so dumb. It's still sold out anyway, but
Mhm.
um people complain that there's too many packs. Like that doesn't bother me because we just want to try to pull some redeemables. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really care about that. Like I think they 100% missed a huge opportunity to make Freddie on the throne as
yeah,
a royalty. Like it was like there. It made so much
right
sense. Like
there.
sometimes some of these packs come out and you're like, how are they gonna do the Freddie royalty? Like who are they gonna do him
Yeah,
as? Because it could be, multiple different people. And in this case, he didn't even have to be one of the characters. He could have literally been regular Freddy, like they did on one of the cards, like you said, just sitting on the throne. Like it's perfect. Like he didn't have to be Jon Snow or be
Yeah,
any
because
of
he
or
wasn't even
Tyrion or
dressed
any of.
up. Like he was
Yeah, he
legitimately in
wasn't at
normal
all,
clothes.
which totally made sense. But yeah, that one with the red carpet one was so weird. It literally makes no sense. Um, Overall, I was just gonna say, like, definitely love the cards. I thought I do think they overdid them though. Like I think they were just kind of spitting out too many versions of them because you got like every character on the throne. And I
Throne.
know some of the pops they've made that, even though, in reality, they don't all end up being on the throne, but you got that in the pop form. But they were like doing a ton of them as that. And I was like, okay, this is a little overboard. Um, and then I still to this day kind of hate when they do like the same card in like black and gray and then color. Like it's
Yeah.
just kind of another excuse to get a variant out there, I guess you can say. But loved what they did with the animations, loved the redeemables. Like they were all super awesome. And it was definitely a great collection overall. Like you said, like it's a huge one, but it was awesome, especially if you're a Game of Thrones fan. And yeah, the whole Freddy thing, like it didn't shy me away from getting more at all.
No.
But it makes sense that they could have done it. Yeah, 100%. But it's interesting to see going forward what they're going to do. And then including with this next set, which is the one that's being announced, which will be coming out next Tuesday, which is the 18th, right? October
Yes.
18th.
Yep.
Um, it's going to be the Halloween NFTs, and this is the series 2. So this is one of the first like
Yeah.
sets, right? That
It's
came
the
out
yeah, and it's the very first like full set that was on like the drop platform. Like
on the
this would
new, like when it switched over, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
before that would have been like the Iron Maiden, right? I think it was
You have the
first, the
Iron
Big
Man
Boy,
Turtles.
Turtles, yeah, the OG one. But yeah, what this was one of the first ones that I know you
Yeah.
were able to grab like a redeemable
This
from. Like it
is
was a big
like my
deal.
first like NFT
Ever
series.
like
Yeah.
getting into it. And even back then I didn't even get a chance to get any. Um, but yeah, we're getting a second series. It's still very early on, so we don't know too many details. We do know that it's kind of like Halloween based. We did have that one post where they posted a few different of the cards. Um,
Excuse me.
but do you know if those six that were shown, like for sure, are the redeemables or not?
I
Because
don't
I
think
was
they're
hearing that,
redeemables.
yeah, because I was hearing that they're not, and I was also hearing rumors that there wasn't redeemables in this set, which is interesting.
Oh,
But I
I
don't
didn't
think we
hear
have
that.
yeah, we don't have confirmation on like what is or what isn't yet. So it's still kind of early. Because then it's also kind of interesting because like we've seen those, right? And they're obviously like cool, like Halloween based Freddy characters, and they look amazing. Those cards, at least the ones.
Yep.
But then when you see the packs, like the pictures on the packs were very different, which is
Yeah.
usually like if you notice, like for the main characters, it's usually like the two main characters that they put on those card packs, right? Whether it's a premium
That is.
or whatever. So I'm interested to see a little bit more about this. And I'm sure throughout the week we'll get some more information. Because right now, if you go on a drop site, you can't click on the inventory
Yeah,
at
you
all. You
can't
can't
see it
see
yet.
anything yet. So it's still pretty early. Um, but they seem pretty cool. I mean, I definitely like the first version. There isn't well, we don't know if there's a soda one like they did the first time. So we're still kind of waiting on like the official like
It's so interesting that
details.
they haven't done like you bring up the sodas. Like this had a soda and Scooby Doo had a soda. Like I'm surprised like every drop at this point doesn't have a soda. I feel
Yeah.
like it should. Um,
I wonder
it's
why they
fun.
haven't.
And like, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think this all the cards that we've seen so far look really awesome. Some people have been complaining like it looks like it's a horoscope line. I don't know if you saw anyone comment about that because like Freddy dressed up as a lion in one and a crab in one, but like it's just funny because I looked at that and like one thing about Halloween that like you don't always need to dress up as like something like scary
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like horror-esque. So it's like, okay, it's Freddy wearing like a costume. Like I actually thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
And it
literally just a
seems
costume.
like a bunch of the cards may be that way. Um, and I mean, I love I've said this in the past, like I actually wish we had more lines that are just Freddy NFTs. Like I'm still waiting for like I don't know why they haven't done like a holiday themed like winter Christmas one. I feel like that's
Yeah.
like so easy for them to do. But I was super, super pumped when I saw like, yes, we're getting another series of the Halloween.
Yeah. which they were super cool. I'm trying to like look up the
I think these will be hard to get.
that one video. I know it showed like a few of the cards, but I can't find it now. Um, but yeah, like even like the card packs, like I was saying, like so it's basically one of them is him as like a I don't even know what that creature
Me
is, but
either.
he's some like sort of creature. So it is kind of like it's a little random, like the ones that we've seen so far, and then some of them are pretty
They
like
are
okay, those are
random.
cool, they make sense. But it is going to be an interesting one, and I don't know if this is going to be like as popular as maybe we initially would have thought, being like a series two of this line, which was already a line that was somewhat popular.
The one that's
Um,
amazing
but
though
it's
is the
interesting.
Jack-o'-lantern Freddy.
Yeah, yeah. That one is super sick. But like I said, we don't know if those are redeemables yet at all.
We don't, but I feel like that one's got to be. It's funny. I found it and I took a
Well,
screenshot.
I know there's a 101. There's the 101 picture that they have came out with. That one looks awesome. Um,
The
but yeah,
ones
I
that they
can't.
came out with are Skater Freddy in this video,
Uh-huh.
Freddy Funko Crab, Freddy Funko as a lion, Jack-o'-lantern Freddy, Olympian Freddy. And I mean, it reminds me of like going to a college like Halloween costume party, like some of the
Where it's
things
just
that
like
they
super
picked.
random and
Yeah.
different, yeah.
And then
But it
the
also seems
other,
like it's kind of ones that they've already had though in a way, like
yeah,
the molds. So it's like
yes.
somewhat.
And then this other one looks pretty cool. It says director Freddy, and he's just kind of dressed up in normal clothes, and he has like a black shirt on with orange pants. And he's got like a jack-o'-lantern like face on the shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know if any of
So
these are redeemables. I don't think these are all the redeemables. I feel like that Freddy jack-o'-lantern though is either a redeemable. Well, it is redeemable. It's either like a legendary or like that could be the royalty.
yeah,
That one's just so cool.
that'd be pretty sick. But yeah, it's a cool one, drop in general. So excited, but like you said, it is kind of feeling like these things are coming so fast. There's so many of them, and like it's definitely
Yeah.
a lot. So if you're like a casual collector, you're probably okay. But you know, if you're someone like Charlie, you
Yeah.
go after them like crazy. It's getting a little nutty.
Yeah, there's gonna come a point where yeah, something's got to give. But
Kind of pass, yeah,
a lot of people are also complaining, which like I see their point. They're like, we don't want to buy any more NFTs until Funko like ships us our redeemables. Like, all I don't
yeah.
know if you
The
saw
process of the how long it takes for these things is that's kind of crazy. Like
what.
I get part of it because they have to know how
Yeah,
many, right? Because
yeah.
people burn the NFT and people don't redeem them. But like it's like a year later, right? Like when you
It's
by
a
the
little.
time you get
I
these
mean,
things.
let's be real. If Funko's actually doing what they say they're doing, which I've read in a bunch of discords that they actually do destroy them, they are a big enough company to take the loss a little bit, or you know what, they can go into like Brian, or they can be given a Mike, for example, of like they, which I know would still drive people crazy because it's supposed to be a certain number, just make them all know what's coming out and then legitimately destroy the few you have to. It's not going to cost them that much money, rather than like they're starting like a little revolution right now, rebellion within this NFT community, being like, this is ridiculous because I've gotten redeemables, as if you guys have watched my videos, from a lot of the sets. The retro comics was supposed to come in August. It's been said delayed. I don't know if you noticed, did you get your email from the Nickelodeon drop? It's being delayed.
No, I don't
And
even. I was wondering when that
yeah,
was.
so that's been delayed. And then trying to remember what the other drop was. I can't think off the top of my head, but that's all been delayed. And
Yeah,
like they're given like end of Q4, which some people are like, okay, that's probably means we're not going to get them until the beginning of next year because they're not going to meet that deadline. So people are like, they got to stop making all these drops. They can't make the pops,
yeah.
which I
That's the
agree.
only thing is like you slow down that process if you're not getting them fully fulfilled, basically with the original process. So like and the thing is, what's annoying is like they're not like waiting around to be like, all right, well, there was 3,400 pieces of this, only
Yeah.
2,500 got redeemed. Well, if that's the case and you're taking this long, then change the damn sticker on the box and put it that now it's only a 2,500 piece, right? They don't do that. They still go
No.
off of what it was supposed to be, and then supposedly they burn or destroy whatever the other ones are. So it's like, what's the wait for? Like, why? What's all this extra? And I mean, I get that like they don't probably want to just make these all, and then once you get the redeemable, they just ship them to you. Like I
Yeah.
understand that aspect, but like, because what if they do like a crazy loss? Like, what if like something just does not get redeemed for whatever reason, and then they have all these sitting on all these pops that at that point make no sense for people.
No.
But there's gotta be something else, or maybe it's where it's coming from. And I know we didn't touch on this. I don't want to get too crazy in a rabbit hole, but I know we kind of have mentioned a few shipping like delays and whatever it is. And remember when we announced a while back that they had a new distribution center and everything going on in like Arizona, right? Phoenix.
Yeah.
And like you hinted towards like, is this center like just trash? Like that there's a lot more issues with, and it seems like it's funny to say. So like I feel like quality control was one of their biggest issues, and I think that's fine now. I think just like production and like fulfilling like actual orders in time has been their biggest issue.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need to get it on this on the podcast, but like I've had some issues since it's
Yeah.
been changed, not just delayed, not getting what
Because
I
I guess
ordered.
I'm thinking like sodas and stuff with the amount of pogs that were wrong and missed thing. I feel like that kind of has
Yeah, you're right.
stopped.
I haven't really seen people talking about that,
Yeah. But
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 like
yeah, with other
way too
things, of
delayed.
course,
I mean, I
with
didn't get,
delayed damage stuff, like obviously that's still
I'm trying to
happening.
think. I think I got my D23 stuff last week.
Yeah,
There's something
which
wrong with
was
that.
crazy that yours was way after mine, and we ordered the same time, live in the same area, like.
Yeah.
And I remember getting mine, I think, what, like a week before you, and it is weird, like who gets what and when, and like I get it, we're on the East Coast, but like there's literally like I now at this point I've realized when people on the West Coast order from Funko, they get that thing like the next day,
Yep.
and it's not just one. Like I've noticed that multiple times with people on the West Coast, and I was like, wow, like good for them. And it's not like we wait a week; it's like 2 to 3 weeks to
Yeah.
the East
It's
Coast.
funny. It seems like their shipping process got better
Yeah,
where the East Coast hasn't.
yeah. So that's crazy, but we'll see. So it's kind of up and down. But I think that's it. So
Yeah.
pretty solid. Good. So not a ton of news and ton of things, but cool things. Like definitely things that we're excited for. A lot of things that were announced or that are leaking, or little by little, like that we're getting excited for. We're now in like the peak of like the Halloween and horror time. So like, I love when that kind of stuff comes around. And next thing you know, we're gonna be in the Christmas holiday season, and like that's gonna start popping up a bunch of things. So really excited for what is coming for that. um, NYCC again, obviously a success for them, I'm sure. It was cool that we got to at least see a little bit through the eyes of a bunch of people that we may know, but we weren't there ourselves. But it's still exciting. And once we get in stuff, I'll obviously be dropping a video of stuff that I get from my well, most of mine was like sodas, so I'll be excited to open up those, see if we can pull some chases on some of those concept. Who knows when that's coming, because like we said, stuff is obviously
Who
always
knows?
delayed. I just got in like this huge box over here from Funko, actually, which has some cool pops in there. But yeah, keep a lookout for obviously more videos, whether it's on either of our individual side or this channel specifically with like the NFTs and different things like that. So definitely make sure that you are checking us out on YouTube, like we always say. Please give us a subscription. We really appreciate it. We did go on a little run of getting some new subs, and we
Yeah.
really, thank you guys. Welcome if you guys are listening or watching and you're one of the new subs. But we do appreciate that. But Charlie, you can close us out.
Yeah. And just to go off what Meg said, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. And we just keep growing, and we really appreciate your help. But also make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when our new videos do drop. I know I mentioned this in the past, but we're kind of getting in the groove to when we drop stuff, but like we're still trying to play around. So we don't want you to think, oh, they didn't post a video this week, because we may just dropped it at a different time. So we
Yeah.
appreciate that. And then we so much love the comments that we keep getting. It was nice to see, some people say that they missed us when we were away. We really, really appreciate that. And in the comments, just drop in, like, let us know if you went to New York Comic Con, if you got to go to the Fright Night event, or just let us know what you got on the online drop. So we're always interested, and we love just having banter back and forth with everyone. So with that being said, thank you so much. Keep collecting, and until next week, later, everyone.
Take it easy, everyone.